you noticed the corporate giants snatching up the last affordable housing options in America, pushing prices out of reach, and leaving regular people wondering if they'll ever own a home?
I worked my whole life, and this is what it comes down to? Some greedy person wanting his big chunk out of what little bit I had.
The most vulnerable residents in Michigan are being taken advantage of. And some people have to choose between rising rent, medications, and food.
It's like you genetically bred a superior predator and let him loose in a target-rich environment. This is actually a good day. Sometimes it's like mud.
This corporation is putting profits ahead of the safety and welfare of our local citizens.
How much longer can you afford to live in your home?
1 month. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Hope that I don't wake up tomorrow. That's crossed my mind.
Affordable housing. It's disappearing fast, and I'm not just talking about mobile homes or trailer parks. These days, even single-family homes are getting scooped up by massive corporations and institutional investors, driving prices sky high and putting home ownership further and further out of reach for everyday Americans. And this trend will not reverse, at least until this type of mass buying from private equity stops, or there's more supply injected into the market to match the demand. Now, I'll get to the demand part in just a minute, but where does the supply of new, affordable homes come from? Well, historically, during tough economic times, you'd expect a wave of foreclosures to hit the market, helping to drive prices down. But guess what? That's not happening. In August of 2024, just a couple months ago, foreclosure filings actually dropped 11% from last year. Mortgage delinquencies are at historic lows, and we're still far below pre-pandemic foreclosure levels. So if you're waiting on foreclosures to bring down home prices, don't hold your breath. And if you're thinking, well, maybe the baby boomers will sell their homes soon, well, think again. Over half of baby boomers say they have no plans to sell. They're keeping their homes in the family, which means even less inventory hitting the market that people are expecting. So with fewer foreclosures and baby boomers holding onto their properties, new supply isn't coming from either of those places. Okay, so what about building more homes? Can't we just do that?
Builders completed over 1.5 million new housing units in the 12-month period that ended in July 2024. That still wasn't enough to end a housing shortage that's a decade in the making.
Not only were we underbuilding for a decade, but then you get to the pandemic and there's this massive rush on housing.
That's making home prices rise fast in many parts of the country.
So if you are waiting for that market to really dip, it's not going to happen. The reason for that is that we are so underbuilt.
So why are we underbuilt? What's going on? Why does it feel like the system's rigged against everyday people? Well, it's because it kind of is.
What power do you have right now in the existing legal structure to do anything about the rising rent or any of the fees?
There's absolutely no recourse right now. About a year after this started, it's like something just broke in me, and I started talking to some neighbors saying we've got to gather and do something about this.
What can you do about this? Well, you got two options, and I'll share with you exactly what they are. But if you're feeling frustrated, feeling like no matter how hard you work, that owning a home or just keeping up with rising rents is slipping further and further away, you're not alone. A lot of people are right there with you, fighting the same uphill battle. I mean, when you see giant corporations and investment firms grabbing up properties left and right, who would blame you for feeling powerless? Here's the thing though, it's not just about a few greedy companies. There's a whole system in play here. I mean, government policies, big money influence, the way our economy is structured, all of it is making housing less affordable and more out of reach for everyday people. And the frustrating part, the problem, it ain't going away. In fact, it's getting worse. So yeah, you have every reason to be upset, concerned, and complain. But that's not gonna change anything. Here's the deal. You've got two choices. First, you can take on the machine. You can get involved. You can fight for change. You can join local housing initiatives. You can support policies that aim to slow down corporate ownership of housing. But that's like throwing little pebbles at a freight train. I mean, you might make a dent, but there's an almost certainty that the train will not be stopped by your little stones. It's not impossible, and it is a noble path. But let's be real. It's not a quick or easy fix. There is another option though, and the phrase, if you can't beat them, join them. That's what comes to mind. And by that, I don't mean joining the corporations or going to work for one, but more along the lines of aligning with the idea that a rising tide lifts all boats. Because here's the truth. There is a massive wave building, and if you can't stop it, then you ride it or you drown. So put your boat, or at least your board, in the water by learning how to invest in real estate yourself. Now you might be thinking, okay, but we've got a big problem. I don't have the money to invest in real estate, Matt. Hey, I get it. But here's the reality. Most people think they have a money problem when it comes to investing in real estate. But in reality, what they really have, it's an idea problem. They're not lacking funds, they're lacking the knowledge or the creativity to make something happen with what they do have. Real estate doesn't have to be just for people with deep pockets. I mean, if it were, I would have never got in. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Because I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together or a credit score worth a lender's attention. With a little bit of know-how, some guidance, and the right strategies, I eventually got an oar in the water, at least. And then I got my own boat, and then I got another and another. And you know, anyone could have done what I did. I mean, anyone can do it, even if their bank account isn't overflowing or their banker won't return their phone calls. Anyone can do it, but most people won't. And there lies a real opportunity. Look, I won't sugarcoat it. There's a good chance that houses right now are as affordable as they're ever going to be. And the average person's paycheck isn't keeping up with those prices, or with inflation, or any of the rising costs that we're all dealing with these days. If it's not real estate for you, what is the plan? Because if you're feeling like the economy is running away from you, the only way to keep up is to get your money working at least as hard for you as you are for it. And here's the bottom line. Real estate is one of the only vehicles out there that gives regular people a shot at getting their money to work hard so they can keep up in an economy that's racing ahead. You know, some people will hear this and think this is a real estate conversation, but it's not. This is a money conversation driven by real estate. If you're worried about where things are going, if you're tired of feeling like you're falling behind, this might be the best or even the only move you can make. If you've got something better working for you, then by all means, stay the course and don't listen to me. But if you don't, listen, I know it's tough out there and it can feel overwhelming. And I know it's not fair and it's not right. But you can make all the arguments you want and be right and get left behind. Or face the facts and rise to the occasion. And you don't have to go it alone. I'm getting together with a small group of aspiring investors this month to put their boats in the water. And if you'd like to join us, the details on how are posted at epicapprentice.com. We've got some room left to help anyone that's ready to help themselves. That's who this is for. Either way, you do have a choice. Real estate is powerful, and with the right approach and support, it's something that can lift you up rather than push you down. So if you're ready to stop watching the wave and start riding it, let's take it on together. The biggest wealth transfer in US history, it's happening right now. So I pulled this video out right here for you to watch next, so you know what it is and how to get ready for it. You've got this, you can do it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.